I am your host, Ill Ego CEO, also known as John Nostos, and I'm with my co-host, Dion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we almost had it.
We had a couple that we had came
So
up
there was
with.
Primetime, Dion, Primetime Larry, and then what was this other one you came up with?
I can't even remember.
Not Neon, but it was something else. We lost it.
Yeah, I guess we're sticking with Primetime.
What's it matter?
week.
We have another guest here with us today. So Dion, Primetime Larry's in the house as per usual. Today we have a special guest, Drew Ross or Ross Drew. I never get it right.
Well, it is Drew Ross, but I mean to the Metro community, it's Ross.
It's Ross. I think we're real militant there, so we use last names.
Well,
maybe.
that and like I just
It is a first name though.
I've been coached my whole life, and it's always Ross. It's never Drew. Man, that doesn't hold up.
Nah, yeah, you're right. We'll go with Ross.
Well, speaking of nicknames, I mean, Rock Solid Ross is your nickname, correct?
Well, I don't know if it's a nickname more or less as an alter ego.
Okay. Okay.
And you got a few of those, and this is going to be fun to try and bring them out today.
Oh, don't even get me started here, Johnny boy.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, let's get into this. We don't have any specific topic with Ross because he could be anybody at any moment. We're just going to kind of ride the wave and see how this conversation goes today. But I know we have some topics we want to get into. So let's just start a little bit with who is Rock Solid Ross.
Who is Rock Solid Ross? Well, the best way to explain that would be I'm from the land of loons and pontoons. I'm from Fergus Falls, Minnesota, the lakes area.
As opposed to Lakes Country?
Well, I mean, Artell County is known as the Lakes area, not Lakes County. That's not
No, Country. Don't they call
Country?
it Lakes Country?
I mean, I guess you could, but
Yeah, you're from here, not me.
Yeah, man. Like,
I trust you, Doug.
Yo, like I'm a crazy loon. I've surrounded myself by loons, family included, and I like to chill out on pontoons, beer, babe, and beaches. It's kind of a little bit of who I am.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a little bit about me. I thought you said we had to start off this podcast with a freestyle.
No,
that was a lie.
Yeah, we do this traditionally. We just forgot, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, Dion?
Usually, I
So
mean,
go.
I get you're excited to see me.
if you're ready to
But
go,
sometimes you just gotta let that
No,
be.
you know what this is an indication of? This is an
What?
indication
What?
that Ross has never watched one of our fucking podcasts.
Exactly. I didn't want to taint it. I did not want to taint the result by watching the podcast and then going, oh, do I got to stick to the format?
gotta do this,
Do
yeah.
I just got to be me? No, I'm Rock Solid Ross. Man, I was born to be free.
Hell yeah.
I treat my exes like I treat my taxes.
You
I
ignore 'em?
totally forgot. No, I don't ignore them. I volunteer my time, so I don't have to whip out
God.
my 9.
Oh,
That way, I'm stress free, and I'm feeling fine.
so he's freestyling.
This is
right
his
now. Yeah.
freestyle.
Well, I
was
guess
gonna
I'm
say-
freestyling. I don't know. Rock Solid Ross is a line you won't cross. Come up to me, step up. You'll see who's the boss.
Ooh.
And if you got a problem with that, well, then I'll just give you a little bit of a toss.
I like that. That was good.
Tumble, bumble. Bitch, I'm ready to rumble. I don't know.
Hell yeah. Good job.
My melon is it's white, guys. I know you look at my face and you go, ooh, he's a little ethnically ambiguous. He's white. He's white adjacent. He's white, but there's something else there. What is that? What's
See,
your
I thought it was.
ethnicity?
I thought you had Asian in you.
See, and then you're completely correct. So, if you really want to get into the origin story, this is 100% what it is. So, my dad is 100% Alaskan Inuit,
Okay.
and my mother is 100% Hawaiian. And the way they met was my dad was an architect in Alaska. And one of the igloos collapsed, and he suffered a mental breakdown.
Wasn't a very good architect.
Well, it was
If his igloo collapsed.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of external factors that go into play,
Sure.
i.e. weather, and there was an abnormal heat front that went in, and consequently 3 people lost their lives.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So then he just said, you know what, F it. I don't know if I can swear on this podcast.
Yeah, you can do it.
So he said,
Hey, you came here to be free.
So he straight up said, you know what, fuck it, I gotta get out of here. And he goes, you know what, I'm gonna go to Hawaii for a week. And my mother was the flight attendant on Hawaiian Air. And 9 months later, here I am.
That's a crazy story.
So you're completely made up.
I was about to say you're a product of the Mile High Club.
Yeah, I was gonna, for sure.
This dude just freestyled his whole fucking intro to us, and it was all a bunch of lies. All right.
True origin story. This is a true take. My dad was going through a nasty divorce, and he spent just a shitload of time at Perkins. My mom was the waitress. I'm not making this one up.
This is a lot less intriguing than Hawaii.
Yeah, I know. It's not as glamorous. But no, when my dad signed the divorce papers at Perkins, he asked my mom out on the spot. And
what a stud.
Yeah, and then they got married, and then they had me. I was actually made on purpose, which is shocking.
Yeah. So are you all the way white then? That's the question?
Yeah, well, it's European mutt.
European mutt.
I'm a quarter Czechoslovakian, or you can say Slovak. I guess that's because the country split. I'm a quarter Norwegian, a quarter Swede, and the rest is German, Scotch, Irish. So I think I get the eyes from Eastern European, but what do I know?
Yeah,
John's what are you, John? Just since
I'm like pretty much a mutt too. I'm mixed with a little bit of everything. But these days you can just call me a Blaxican.
Yeah.
Blaxican or Blexican?
Blaxican. I could throw a few more races in there that just don't flow for like a one-word phrase.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. Well, not everyone can be Alaskan, Inuit, and Hawaiian, so I get it.
No, yeah, you're right.
No, because like a quarter of what I've ran into is like a quarter of the people think that I'm Asian, right?
Yeah.
So with that origin story, I was like, okay, what are like the 2 coolest like Asian sounding things that I could come up with? I came up with Alaskan Inuit, and I was like, oh, Hawaiian. I get that all the time.
That's good.
Very interesting. So this let's get down to a little bit some more serious stuff just so we can understand why you're here, because you're not just some Joe Schmo that hangs out at our gym, but you actually have a lot going on, and you do some things within our community that kind of makes you a standout aside from your personality, which I'll tell you is insanely wild. Everyone appreciates Ross in the gym, man, because of this personality and the many characters that you portray. It's awesome to be around a person like that, though, honestly, and this comes from you being a professional wrestler. Yeah. Right? Like you have this persona about you, this rock solid Ross.
So it's kind of like a chicken and the egg situation. Is did the persona come out because I came up with the character Rock Solid Ross, or has the Rock Solid Ross always been there and I've been predestined to be a pro wrestler? I don't know.
You don't have that figured out yet.
Well, it's just like,
or you just don't want to tell people because it's part of your mystery.
No, I mean there is some intrigue on who I am, but really it's just I think that ultimately inside of me is rock solid, and when I became a pro wrestler, I could embrace it more. It was more catharsis. I could bring it out and be a way for me to not hold it in. Oh, I get it out. Okay, time to be normal.
I just had the question, obviously, because we've talked before, and you've shown me before, but you were a collegiate level wrestler, right?
That is true. So the origin of my wrestling was I was 3.5, and my dad was like, "This is a wild savage of a human being. We got to find some way to like rein it in." So he took me to an elementary wrestling practice. And he was talking to the coaches and saying, "Hey, is my son ready for this?" And the coach goes, "Well, seeing that he's pinning a kid right now, yeah, I think he's good." Yeah. So then I've always been a wrestler my whole life, and I took second my junior year. And then I went undefeated and won state my senior year for Fergus Falls, Minnesota, AA. double A, a 189 weight class, and then NDSU came knocking, and I'm like, I'm only going to wrestle in college if a Division I scholarship is available. And granted, I wasn't like a 5-time state champ, so I didn't get that free ride as some of my teammates did, but I went and I wrestled for NDSU. I started as a true freshman at 197.
Jeez.
I wrestled all the way to my junior year. Going into my senior year, I was having back issues, and admittedly, I was dealing with anxiety and depression, which I didn't really know.
Yeah.
Like I sought, towards the end of my junior year, I sought help, but ultimately, when the back issues came, I just had to throw it in, because I needed to focus.
Yeah, especially being a full-time athlete, full-time student, it's a lot.
Yeah, so admittedly, I had a little bit of a breakdown. I ended up going to community college where I was pursuing art. And after 2 years, I realized that I was wasting my money pursuing art. Not to say that art in itself is a meaningless pursuit, but it was more or less therapy for myself.
Yeah.
And at the time, I had a buddy who were playing 2K, I think it was 2K12 at the time. And he's like, you need to do... Sorry, I burped.
The Heineken's get to
The
me.
Heinekens,
Sure.
so they're going to get to me. This is going to be consistent. But no. So he is like, yo, you need to be a pro wrestler. And I laughed at him. I was like, nobody does that. That's not a real thing. And he was like, no, it absolutely is a real thing. And at the same time, I was working at a group home with people with developmental disabilities. And I got put on a random Monday night. And all the guys, they went into their rooms at 7 p.m., which I thought was weird because they usually go to bed around 8:39. And I started hearing a man with anger issues start freaking out. And I run into the room, and I was like, whatever, because I don't want to give out names, HIPAA. John Cena, he's losing. Ugh. And then I started hearing complaints from 3 other rooms. And I was like, oh, snap, I need to put this in the main room. So we started having Monday night parties. And I looked, and I go, all right, well, I'm 6'1". I'm over 250 pounds. I have a little bit of a theater background and a pretty defined personality. I think I'm bred for this. I think I got the right pedigree. So when my buddy found the camp, or we call it a camp, but it's a training school, I was like, I'm doing it. And a lot of people thought that's such a ridiculous idea. I was actually seeing a therapist at the time, and he told me that's just, you're crazy, you're not going to do it. And then I told him to fuck off.
Your therapist told you were crazy.
Yeah.
Just
well,
like
he
that.
didn't say crazy, and no,
Like it's a crazy idea.
He was saying that it was just kind of like a manic thought that wouldn't come into fruition. And I just told him, I told him to fuck off, or I told that curly haired fuck. I called him a curly hair fuck, and go fuck yourself. And I walked out of session, and I joined. It took me 4 months of intense training. I was trained by the legendary Terry Fox, and it was like 3-hour practices 4 times a week in Coon Rapids during the summer, mind you. So it would get up to 100 degrees. There was so many times where I ended up losing 30 pounds. I came in at probably about 260, and I walked out 230, 225.
Wow.
And then it was just a process of getting booked and everything else.
And so now you've been doing this for how long?
I've been doing this since, I think it was 2014.
Oh, wow.
And I was really rocking and rolling for a good 2 years. I was getting booked about 3 times a week in Minneapolis. But ultimately, I realized that this wasn't a good plan. Like ultimately that this isn't like, it's fun to entertain people and everything else, but the shot of making it as a true pro, the John Cena level, is so rare. So then I started, I ended up doing Americorps for 2 years, and I found out that my calling was actually mental health and teaching adolescents who struggle with mental health how to cope and how to deal with their own lives. And there was a period where I kind of went on hiatus, and now I'm coming back. But yeah, I mean, that's ultimately the Rock Solid Ross tale. So now I'm primarily booked through Puffamania Wrestling and Below Zero. Okay. And it's local. I'm not driving 6 hours round trip, just to put on a 15-20 minute match.
My big question for you, since we were in that time period, that 2014 to 2016 year, were you like, is it a very profitable sport to do, especially because you're doing it in the cities?
Well, let's just put it this way, Dion. If I had enough to cover my bar tab, food, and gas, I considered myself very fortunate.
Even in the cities, huh?
Even in the cities, yeah. I mean, you make your money off of merch. You don't make your money off the booking.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's just the nature of the game. But it was fun to be in the cities, but the cities wasn't my calling.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe, man. Like, I need fresh air. I need to be able to just cruise out in the country roads. Yeah. And I need to be amongst the loons and pontoons. I can't. And I'll tell you,
the beers and the broads,
beers, babes, and beaches. Yeah. But like, I'll tell you what, Calhoun isn't a substitute for a Minnesota loon. Yeah. Because that's, and you're like, what do you mean by Calhoun? Yeah. Well, Lake Calhoun is where everyone in Minneapolis goes to go swimming, and it's just a cesspool. Yeah. And for someone who has been privileged enough to live in the lakes area, yeah, I was like, no, this is not worth dealing with a Minnesota winter just to go swimming in just like a kiddie pool, essentially. But
so you actually lived out there?
Oh yeah. I was there for 2 years. I had a pretty sweet deal. My landlord only made me pay like $400 plus utilities because it was a house. He's like, yeah, I'll get some more people to come in. And I only had a roommate for the last 2 months, but that was a good year. I was just paying $400 for a house in Minneapolis. Like, that's a good deal. That's a really good deal. But
you can't get a crappy house for $2,400 or so.
Yeah, like I understood how fortunate I was, but at the same time too, like I was working for LSS, so I was still working for people with developmental disabilities, but it just wasn't for me. And then I went back home to Fergus Falls, and that's really where I got hooked up with Americorps. And so I served my country for 2 years, and then I found my path. That's it in a nutshell.
Can you explain Americorps?
Americorps is much like the Peace Corps, but you're stationed in America, and you sequester yourself to poverty, and so you're basically living off $400 every 2 weeks, which isn't easy. And to do that, my parents were like, "Look, we love you, Drew, but you were an arrogant asshole when you're dealing with all your mental health stuff in community college. We really don't want you to move back in." And I'm like, I don't want to move back in with you guys too. I think we need some separation of church and state here. So then I ended up living with my bachelor uncle for a year. Then I was like, all right, I like Fergus, but I want more of a challenge. And I ended up going to Duluth, where I was working in the most impoverished area in Duluth. And that really strengthened me. It was really hard too, because it's high poverty, high minority rate, and everyone else working at the center was a person of color. And here I am, white guy, And the worst thing I did was I cut off my hair, right? And
Shit.
so me with a buzz cut, muscular, I looked like an undercover cop.
Yeah. I just imagine that.
Especially if you had that leather jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you wore exactly what you wore right now, had a buzz cut, I'd be like,
Yeah, I don't trust this guy. This guy's sus for sure.
Abracadabra, B. Abracadabra.
So then I was like, well, how am I going to connect and actually reach with these kids? I got good at two things, pool and basketball. I've lost the basketball
I
skills.
was going to say, have you ever dunked then?
Look, I'm 275 and 6 foot. Gravity doesn't treat me well. I will say, though, if there was ever a chance, it would have been my senior year when I was 190. Yeah, I was able to get like 3 inches above the rim.
See, I feel like that's an important question for most people because being 6 foot, you should be able to have dunked once in your life. You know?
Yeah, well, just keep rubbing it in. It really is just. I thought this was a body positive podcast, but
We
I guess
try our
not.
best. Well, with that being said, so let's get into a little bit of where you're at today. We've seen you perform and do what you do best. That was very interesting. I've never been to a pro wrestling event. It was a lot of fun to see. If you haven't seen it, you definitely should go check it out because it's something else.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than live pro wrestling.
Yeah.
You put on a hell of a show, though. I'd say your character comes out a little bit more on fire than most other characters that we see at the local level.
You know,
interesting.
it's I'm a baby face, and there is a challenge to being a baby face, because I can't be a complete dick and just cut people down, but I am so good at it.
Yeah, and your personality is so top tier in that realm. It's just crazy. It's another level that people don't match often, so it's very fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up because I do have a show coming up here. Where am I at here? Okay. Well, it's not in Fargo. It's in Valley City, but it's March 18th, 2022. I don't know why I'd say the year, but it is.
In 30 years from now, March 28th, you heard it here.
Valley City, PWA.
No, it's March 13th, you said?
18th.
March
So-
18th. So
And you're keeping your wrestling thing that you do it on a local level. Are you not really trying to pursue bigger heights with it? This is just your thing.
No. I'm not trying to swoon the WWE. That's when I was doing that 2-year stint in Minneapolis. I ultimately came to that conclusion that hey, it's not worth the guru. I realized hey, even if you do make it somewhat, you're paying for all your expenses, medical, travel, and do you really want to be a cripple? By the time you get out, do you want to make yourself a martyr to the cause, or do you just want to be entertaining?
Yeah.
Do you just want to perform on a local level? What's your call?
I have another question that I feel like is really valid. What's your worst injury you got from pro wrestling? Obviously, you said your back was already messed up. What was your most recent or worst injury, and how do you deal with those bumps and bruises?
How do I deal with the bumps and bruises of life? You just wake up and you deal.
Yeah.
Fortunately enough, I haven't had any major issues. Every day, the day after, I like to play the game. What hurts? Because you can't feel it when the endorphins are kicking in and you're just having a great high and you ride the high until 2 a.m. I think I had a broken toe from I was wrestling a mountain of a man and he accidentally stepped on my foot. I don't even think he knows that he messed it up, and I was just like, I was new in the business and I was like, I'm not gonna talk about how he stomped my foot on accident. Like, get out of here. But for the most part, I've been pretty lucky not to have to deal with too much injuries. I mean, granted, one of my friends is a chiropractor, so
That's
you got to make friends as or with a chiropractor if you're going to be in pro wrestling. That's just bottom line.
That's good. That's good.
So, pro wrestling is your hobby, so to speak. Then, your career path is working with mental health,
And I specialize with adolescents, kindergarten through 18 years of age.
specialized. Like you're certified, educated in that realm.
Absolutely.
Nice.
So
Do you find that you have a pretty big fan base among kids too? Do they know you're a pro wrestler?
this is the funny thing is, like, you would think, oh yeah, I gotta tell them I'm rock solid. They don't give a shit.
They're like, who?
Like, what?
Where is he?
No, like,
Do you know John Cena?
yeah. Oh, have you ever met John Cena? Fun fact, I have met Roddy Piper.
Nice.
And I spent the day with him one time. But in regards to my clients, students, whatever you want to call them, the only ones that really care are the athletes that I coach currently.
Okay.
At Moorhead. I'm the assistant varsity lifting coach, and
So you're dealing with high schoolers.
oh yeah,
it's
oh my god, the high schoolers is where it's at, because I don't have to, like, when you're working with elementary and you're working with middle school, not only do you have to filter your thoughts, you got to filter what you're trying to explain to them.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, and granted, I'm pretty good at the translation, but with high schoolers, there's so much more where you can just BS with, you can have some levity with, and they're a lot more relatable. And so you don't have to have such a strong filter on the educational aspect of coping with mental illness. Because ultimately, as a practitioner, that's what I do. I'm not the therapist. I'm the one going, all right, you got this, this, and this. These are the skills that are going to help you get through your own life. And admittedly, I steal a lot of what helps me.
Yeah.
I mean, besides the amount of research that I've done, and, if I'm dealing with a client with a diagnosis I've never heard of, I'm going to do a lot of research and figure that out.
Right. Mental health is like a really big issue in society right now, especially in the recent last couple of years with the COVID stuff and everything that's going on. People being locked in their houses, not being able to go to events and participate in life as we once knew it. It's like an all-time high. Depression, anxiety. I've dealt with bouts of anxiety myself that I've never in my life had to deal with, and it came when we were closed down during COVID. Our gym was shut down, so I relate and understand it a lot. But one thing that I see right now is that it's so heightened that there's a lot of imposter. No, and I'm being dead ass serious here, and I want to get your take on this, because there's a lot of like imposter syndrome when it comes to anxiety and depression and like. And I could be way off base, man, and I'm super sensitive to the issue of mental health because I know people who truly passionately deal with this shit.
Yeah.
And then I know people who just like to take videos of themselves crying on social media and tell everybody how depressed they are. And if I know anyone that does this personally, I promise you I'm not taking a shot at you. Yeah. I'm confused by it, though. I'm in my mind, the last thing when I'm having an anxiety attack, bro, the last thing I want to fucking do is go public.
Absolutely.
And it's never brought me to tears or anything like that, but if I can imagine if it did, I don't want to post a video of myself crying and put it on Facebook, because then to me my mind is out of the issue, and now I'm doing something almost with arrogance, and it doesn't seem like the issue should exist when you're in that frame of thought. Well, so I feel like people abuse that in a real way, because we're a very weird, trendy society. Like, I've seen this all over the internet. People are trending in the direction of like copycat everything, right? Kids wear fake braces, bro, because it's trendy to have braces right now. You know what I mean? So there's like this thing where kids are wearing fake braces. I'm like, you guys really, what? So now people are faking depression because they have friends that are depressed all the time. So now they're pretending they have depression. And it's just like, sometimes I feel like you're not depressed. You're just a little lazy maybe, and you don't want to get up about life, and you don't want to face the reality that life is fucking hard and that you have to earn everything in life. So I just feel like we're in this weird place where like trends are a thing, and mental health has become a very popular trend. Yeah, and that's not to take away from people who really deal with it. I just don't think most people who are truly dealing with real actual issues are on the outward expression with it.
So I would strongly recommend if you're a person who you feel that you're really struggling with your own mental health, go to any mental health facility.
Yeah, get help.
Get help. There's no one going to give you. The nice thing about today's society is you're not going to get negative feedback for getting mental health. Whereas if we flip the page 10 years ago, men are weak and you can't do that. You can't deal with your own life. What's going on? And that's why so many men are successful at ending and terminating their lives.
Right.
But if we were to flip the script here and we're talking about the wokeness culture and we're talking about the imposters, well, I would say that there are certain types of mental health that, like, if you had a borderline personality disorder, you're going to do that cry for attention, right?
Right.
And then there's also this, normalize
I can't stand
that legitimately triggers me
Yeah,
because
big time for me too.
it's if you really have mental health issues, you have to take action for that. You have
Don't normalize the sitting in the issue. Normalize getting fucking help.
So it's cool that you recognize that you have depression or anxiety, but pissing and moaning on Instagram or Facebook isn't going to solve the issue. And trying to get other people to feel pity for you, pity doesn't do shit.
Or they start trying to diagnose you and tell you what to do and how to fix it, and it's like that's not how it works.
That's
either.
not how it's. You need a
that.
mental health professional to diagnose you, not this. Well, I heard on Instagram through this influencer that she has depression.
This TikTok famous girl said do this.
I felt bad about when my friend Jill wouldn't hang out with me. I must have depression. And it's like, no. It's you have to take action and you have to hold yourself accountable.
For sure.
And that's something that's a real hard pill to take. And, you know, with my own self, I'll straight up say I have anxiety, depression, and ADD. And I call that kind of like the golden triangle, but you know, so there was about 5 years where it was really hard for me to get on the right type of medication because each medication has different side effects, and trying to get regulated was truly a challenge. But in regards to the woke culture, it's like I can be empathetic towards people with mental health issues, but I can also have an opinion of you're not doing anything and you're just ruminating in it and wanting the world to adjust to you isn't going to change anything. But we need to take a break because I got to go pee.
Do you think?
I'll give you guys a topic to talk about. What is your spirit animal?
What is your spirit animal, Dion?
That's a tough one. I feel like I know yours though.
What?
A lion.
Yeah. It's not just my spirit animal. That's what I was reincarnated from.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I would say, you know the turtle in Finding Nemo, the really old ones.
Yeah.
Nicole and I were talking about that, and I said if you wanted to be any animal or one of the characters in Finding Nemo, she'd be one of the turtles. And I said,
why?
That's because they're fun.
Not a worry in the world.
Yeah, and they live to be really old, and they're just chilling.
They've seen it all,
go with
too,
the flow. Yeah, they see it all. Yeah. So I'd have to say one of those turtles. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. What do you think Ross is? What do you think he's gonna say?
I'd say like one of the
Oh shit!
like a bird that
I totally thought you were gonna say a baboon. You're like yeah. I was like, oh shit!
No, like a bird with like a really big set of feathers in the back that they
like
fan
peacock.
out. Yeah, like a peacock, something like that.
Yeah, I can see that. Ross, your spirit animal is a peacock, according to us.
A peacock?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Because I'm not someone who flaunts it unless I got it.
Well,
You got it though. That's what we're
so
saying.
but-
if you ask
but
anybody
he's-
in the gym, I think they would say you dress.
Oh, I definitely
in
peacock.
opposition
I
to what you
will.
just
I will
said.
say. I definitely peacock
Okay.
in the gym.
Definitely, if you agree with Peacock, then go ahead and comment down below. Ross, what do you think you are?
Drew Ross, the Peacock.
Yeah.
You guys have seen this man, right? Like, you see, a lion only roars when it has to, and he knows how to work a lioness to get what he wants. And I'm pretty good at protecting my pride.
Okay.
So yeah, no, like if I'm in the gym, I just want to. I like drawing attention, but I also like feeling confident, and I don't like wearing what everyone else wears. I'm not going to be a gym guppy and wear that brand, or I'm sorry, Gym Shark.
I was like Jim Guppy.
I got it.
It's my first time ever getting workout apparel. Oh, I'm going to be a Gym Shark. Sweet. I'm going to get rad ass shirts, leggings from Target and Walmart. And I'm going to find old shirts that no one has, and I'm going to make them into a curated cutoff.
Nice.
Well, you wear
One of a
leggings.
kind.
You wear leggings that I never even seen some girls wear. They're like they're really outgoing, and I like that. It's cool.
Okay, but you get them from the women's section.
Well, you know what? We live in a gender neutral.
Okay, yeah, so we could take all that out, but you
Target,
still get them. But I've never seen potato aisle in clothing when I was at the apparel store. So we'll just say men and women, right? Like, let's just be logical here.
Well, if we're
so
gonna
the
be-
leggings that you tend to wear in the gym, though, you're not gonna find them in the men's sports apparel.
Look, so it's just, you know how shoes have different sizes.
Yes,
for
I
men
get
and women?
that they're neutral.
Yeah,
I'm just
so
saying.
I'm just saying that I'm an X1 woman's,
Yeah.
which is plus size
Okay. I was like, what is that?
in Target. In Walmart, I'm a double XL. Walmart, they cater
they're
to
body shaming.
They cater to a thicker size.
So
Looney Tunes apparel.
which one gives you the best? What is your preferred place to shop at to get those?
Honestly, it'd be Target.
Target?
I have.
Do you wear those because for women they design them to accentuate the ass?
I mean, do I have a fantastic ass? Yes. Am I wearing it to show off my ass? No. It's for $7.99. You just get a higher grade of material versus Walmart, where it's just like after 4 washes, it's just loose and the elastic doesn't snap back. Whereas I can wear my Wild Fable. Hashtag Target, sponsor me.
They're watching, so
They're definitely watching that. So
Well, we'll have to tag them.
yeah.
yeah, I know. I mean, you know, it's just like, I'm just like, why not? Like, I talked about gambling, not on the podcast, but a little bit earlier. Whereas a lot of people want to do pull tabs and shit like that, and I'm like,
I do those and I never won, but I do them like whenever we go out and I never win.
I'm just like, why would I put $20 in pull tabs when I can just get more beer? At least I'm getting something out of this transaction.
Yeah, I see that.
And I was like, the first time I remember I was in Superior, Wisconsin. I was at a grocery store where they were selling leggings, and I just felt it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to gamble on this. And it paid off.
Nice. So speaking of, while we're on the gym topic, because this is obviously how we know Drew Ross is through the gym. You're not just some dude goofing off in the gym. You take your gym pretty serious. You actually you work at the high school with athletes in the weight training room, right? So you're kind of a weight training coach. Is that your title?
Yeah.
So you know your way around the gym pretty well. You're stronger than shit. I've seen you bench 500. I've seen you do all this crazy shit in the gym. So you're not just some dude in here playing around and half-assing it, but you have a wild personality and a loud character in the gym. People love it. You're really cool with pretty much anybody, unless they're just not into fun people. What are some of your gym pet peeves?
Well, before I get into the negative pet peeves and the question of etiquette, I would say that I take an Arnold approach to the gym, and mostly in my own life. That anything you want to do with passion, you should do it joyfully, right? And so I try to view myself as an advocate of joy. With that being said, there are certain things That pissed me off.
Let's get them.
All right. Well, numero uno. And I've told Laura, gym manager,
and everything. He's on.
I'm gym manager. I've told her, I said, hey, we need to have a litmus test. Is it litmus or litmus? I can't. Anyways, a test to tell.
See how lit everybody is?
That's not what it means. It means a test. I don't know. I think Nate McLaughlin after the parking lot might be a little bit more lit.
Oh, we're not talking personality.
Oh, no, I was talking physically. But no, I mean just litmus test. I mean that in the sense of, do you know one of this is not like the other? Put the weights away. Put the weights away.
That's got to be everybody's number one go-to when it comes to pet peeves.
I think,
returning the weights, man.
I think so. But for me, there's a deeper level to it. Because I think of gym bronies.
Okay.
Instead of jabroni, I think of gym bronies are jabronis that who enter the gym.
Sure.
And if you're not going to put the weights away in the correct spot, it tells me, hey, I'm not here to be dedicated. I'm just here to be here for the name itself versus going that extra step. And I think that if you're a true athlete, if you're someone who really enjoys training to that next level, right?
Yeah.
You're going to put the weights away. It's those little details that prevent someone from being a champion. Sure. And when I see that, it's just like, dude, you're taking shortcuts and you're not going to get to where you're at.
Yeah, just finish the job.
Yeah, it's like, it's not that hard. And admittedly, there's been times where I will always put the weight away in the right spot. But there's been times where, I've been caught leaving the weights on there. And
it happens.
I feel bad because it's like my ADD brain's like, well, you got to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And then, it's never been an intentional.
Right. You never just ignored it and walked away from it. You just forgot, or it was some kind of mishap.
So there's that.
Do you call people out on that shit then?
If I see it,
since you take it so serious?
If I see it, absolutely. Yeah. And there was one guy who literally, I don't want to call. I'm not going to draw attention, but he put it away in the wrong spot, and I corrected him. I put it in the right spot, and then again he put it in the wrong spot intentionally. And
say his name. No, I'm
not that level of a dick. I will let Laura know, and I'll let you know. But ultimately,
we'll have a talk with Dion after this.
It was honestly like the audacity, and I was just like, this was like, is this your hill to die on? Is this really where you want to go down, or are you going to take the high road? And I typed it in Google Maps and I took the high road. But
so high road, just so everyone knows, is go tell the manager or somebody to go reprimand them for doing it.
Well, but think about it. If I did it, it's only going to escalate and intensify the situation. If a gym manager does it, it's going to de-escalate and cause, it's not my place to scold someone.
Sure.
I'm not here to spank someone for doing the wrong thing.
See, I disagree with that to an extent, because I don't think you have to scold people to tell them, hey, let's take care of home. We're all paying to be here. I think it does a huge service to the gym staff when our members do take it upon themselves to help out. But it doesn't have to be done in an asshole way. There's the same way we would have to do it, anybody else can. And the only reason why I say that, and maybe it's a little bit in defense of Laura, is because they still give a fuck when leaving the manager. Like, they still get offended. They still act like assholes. The difference is now they're doing it to a woman. They're being assholes to a woman, which can intimidate her sometimes, or other times they just like lash out at her. She's been called racist. She's been called all kinds of things because she's upholding the rules or the policies of the gym. So I tend to really appreciate it when people are so passionate about gym etiquette that they help us keep it in line in the gym when there's an opportunity to do so.
And so I did the thing of trying to tell him to do that
the first time, and then he redid it.
And the fact that he did it on top of that, it was like, okay, he's just being an asshole, and he wants to start beef, and that's not what I'm about.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm an advocate of joy, so I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna let the others notify what's going on here.
Notify the council,
and just move on. Because I'm not going to let some dickhead ruin the rest of my lift.
So what was his name again?
Yeah, you know what?
I'm
I
just kidding, I'm
don't
kidding.
know his actual name, but
he's a regular.
He's a regular, and he
Yeah.
has yet to make a single game in the last 3 years that I've been here. So let's just keep it at that.
Nice.
Another thing that really bugs me in the gym is that I don't know why if there's a fly, a pulley, people think I can just leave that there. So then you're doing is someone still using this?
Oh,
And
like
then-
an
Not changing out
attachment.
the accessories.
Yes, not
Yeah,
changing
yeah,
out the accessories. And then you gotta ask around. Oh, is so and so still using this, or is there someone here that's using the accessory? No one knows, and then it's
Yeah,
By the time you make the decision to take it, somebody
Just
shows
take-
up and they're like, "Oh, I
it's-
was on."
when
that.
you're done, just unclip it. How hard is that? How
Yeah.
hard is it to go?
That
It's
doesn't
just
bother
like-
me so much, because I could think of a million reasons why you'd want to leave them on too, and one of them is because when it's just the carryingers or whatever that are
Yeah.
up there
Yeah.
alone, people take those off, and they when they go to put up, they're like, "Oh, I want a smaller one, or not this one. This one doesn't belong here." Next thing you know, these things are all switched out, and it's like none of these have to come off. You can actually just clip right into these things.
yeah.
Yeah.
But people take them off. So when you leave the accessories on in their mind, the first thing to remove is just the accessory. So then those hooks and those rings and stuff stay on typically when the accessory has to just be swapped out. But I get the
that's an
frustration of
interest-
not identifying
It's an
who's on
interesting
it. though.
thought. That's typically a gym manager owner versus just a gym rat like myself.
Sure.
But then another thing is, like let's say the accessories have 2 pulleys or
Yeah,
whatever.
dual pulley.
Here's what, and then you try to find it and you can't find the matching set.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. All you got to do is, all right, I'm going to do it through the camera here. Shit. So you unhook them, right? And then when you're done, you just lack them both together. That way they're not going to disappear on each other and they're a set. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Something
could
that
work.
could be done,
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds a little picky. I don't know.
I wouldn't enforce that as a policy, but
No,
for
yeah.
people who
It's not
need to
picky,
practice
but
that
it's-
kind of stuff,
it's-
hell yeah, I would agree.
It's
with
not
that, yeah.
it's not etiquette, but it's just like if I see someone doing that, I'm like, definitely a nod of
Yeah.
the hat. Like, oh hey, you care.
Definitely, it's a lot. How do I say this? I hate more when people take an accessory off and drop it on the ground.
That is bad.
Yeah, it's
Especially
like-
when there's fucking hooks all over the gym
Yeah,
where
there's
people can keep
places
this
for
stuff,
it.
and they just chuck them on the ground, dump
Yeah.
them to the side, or like I've seen people do it with plates. They'll just throw the plates off the bar on the floor and walk away from it too, like deadlifts and like metal rows and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just weird that what people choose to do. For me, it's something we'll never escape. It's
It's
job
gonna be-
security,
it's gonna be
but
a
it's like, yeah,
continual factor.
and in any facility that wants to grow and do well and continue to grow, you're gonna have to welcome the riffraff. You're gonna have to accept the fact that there's just gonna be fucking people there that don't have the gym etiquette, that never will have the gym etiquette. Either they're going to weed themselves out eventually, or we just have to say, well, that's why for that kind of person like that, that's why they're staff.
And ultimately, like the way that I internalize it is, well, that's why they're not in that 5% of Metro, right? Like they're not gonna be that top tier. They're gonna be the bro who meets another guy at the bar and goes, "Yeah, man, I lift that Metro," and they're like, "Isn't that like your first gym and you're going to Metro?" "Yeah, man, but I'm like really strong."
Yeah. I'm like
Yeah,
one of
thing.
the strongest there.
It's a thing. It's like I've heard this a million times over the last 7 years. Is a lot of people they're intimidated to go to Metroflex, right? Or they'll say, I really want to go to that gym, but I think I need to train a little bit longer before I head over there, because in their mind it's like we're all like the elites are going, or like the competitive lifters or the bodybuilders and stuff like that. That's one of those misconceptions about who we are at the gym is people. So like you said, in reverse of that is someone being there and then they're like, it's your first gym and that's where you're at right away.
See,
It's almost like you have to work your way up to that or something, but it's not the case. That's just what people think.
yeah, my thing
Well-
is I would rather have people like that at
Yeah.
our gym, which we do, than the
Like
people
Marshall
that are like,
said.
I want to be the strongest at my gym.
Yeah.
Like I would prefer to have a bunch of people that are like, this is my gym, and not actually like be gym participants, than to have somebody who's like, I can't go there because it's
Right,
just
right,
not
right.
for me, Like
I see. For me, just as a member, I just think that it's a top tier gym.
Yeah.
Right. I think that that's not in dispute. So it's just like I just think that going to an anytime or going to this and then getting your bases right and it's almost like whereas our regular gym's a college, we're that master's or doctorate program. Right. But that might make me sound elitist.
I feel like a solution to what you're bringing up is if people were just more willing to ask questions and be more forward in the current members that we do have. Like if you're a young person coming in and you don't really know what you're doing, or you're showing some of these things that we're talking about, like maybe you should just ask somebody, or like be like, hey, you want to work out sometime, and get the ropes from somebody like me or someone like Ross. Like we would be definitely willing to help.
Absolutely.
So,
like I think that you got, like, if you're a truly mindful individual, right? And I think that in the gym, that's absolutely. And I'm against smartphones and just listening to your smartphone in your headphones. I get it. That's the way it is. But I call it the what generation. Anytime you want to have a conversation with someone, they got to take out their headphone and go, what? Oh, what? And it's like, are you truly getting into it? If you're constantly checking your Instagram, there's like, if I see someone in like the hip sled, right? Mm-hmm. And they're just texting, or they're just on their Instagram, and I call it the inverted Instagram. And so it's just like, it takes you away from the moment. And I do believe the gym is a spiritual moment. Yeah. Yeah. I get such a natural high from a good pump.
Yeah.
That it's like,
it's almost like coming.
It's like I'm coming in the gym. I'm coming at home. I'm coming. Isn't it wonderful?
Stage, yeah.
Isn't it wonderful?
I'm coming all the time.
You did that good, Dion. That
was solid.
Yeah. That was really good.
I can only do a Sly impression. I can't do Arnold.
I've never done that well.
I was talking to Adrian. I was like, yo, Adrian, like, what are we doing? What are we doing for lunch? I was thinking maybe a tuna sandwich.
That is good.
Hell yeah. Sylvester Stallone, welcome to the show.
Yes.
Hey, like, yo, like, I like how you keep punching, yo.
That's good shit. See, I'm like, I think for me it's kind of the opposite. I appreciate the don't test the waters, just dive in kind of mentality. You know what I mean? So I like when people who just say fuck it and go. You know what I mean? They don't get the like, oh, I need to work my way up, or they have the mentality of, no, if that's where all the elites are, and I hate using the word elites. I don't like it to seem like I'm stroking my own ego, but if that's the gym where all the badasses are, that people have this impression they got to earn their way into that kind of a facility, and someone's like, fuck that, I'm going. And they show up all fucking freshwater fish and don't know what the hell they're doing in the saltwater type shit. I love that shit. That to me, that's the mentality. You know what I mean? That's like my mentality. That's where I come from. I'm like, I just like to dive into shit and figure it out. You know what I mean? I'll jump and then figure out how to fly while I'm in the air type shit. You know, like that mentality is what it's about for me. I love that shit, bro. I love that backing yourself into 100. A corner to where you have no choice but to fight your way out. Because then you're going to learn a bunch of things real fast. You're going to learn, am I fit for this? Do I really want it? Am I passionate about it? Or did I just think I was? You know what I mean? Because you can teach yourself. Like, people go to school all the time, and I know a lot of motherfuckers that are college educated and don't do shit with their college education. So they wasted hold on. So they wasted a whole bunch of time learning how to do something they thought they were passionate about, and then when it came time to actually do that, they weren't passionate about it. But they wasted 4-6 years learning how to do it first, as opposed to just saying, let's jump in. And I know the school analogy is a little bit off-putting because I don't mean it that way.
No, I am.
But it's like, it's 100% the mentality of, let's just jump in, let's figure it out. If we can't survive it, we weren't meant for it. Yeah. End of story.
Well, I am on that train of thought. I love being fed to the wolves because it provides me with a new fur coat every year.
Oh, yeah.
But admittedly, I did join Metro like 3 or 4 years ago when I just got here.
I remember that. And you were slow coming too.
And I said, you know what? I'm not ready for this. And I said, you know what? I'm going to come back here. This is not the end. And I ended up going to Edge Fitness. and I became that big fish, right? And I was like, well, it's time to go to a different pond. And I love being a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah, I love that.
Because then I'm going to eat till I become that big fish. And, like, what was his name? The Macho Man Randy Savage once said, oh, yeah, the cream rises to the top. Oh,
yeah. That is what he says.
And I mean, but I think that's true with top tier athletes. Yeah. You will rise to the level of your own competition.
For sure.
And if you're not pushing yourself, then what are you doing?
Just because it is what you decided you really want to go towards, and what you're doing currently with your job, basically. How did you figure out or become able to help others with their mental health? Like, how did you figure out a way to cope with your mental health and anxiety and depression issues?
Well, the first thing that I really needed to do was learn how to cope, learn how to deal. And I did go to therapy, and I did learn a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that was self-taught. I'm autodidactic, so I can learn things on my own. But once I was able to figure out my own shit, and granted, I still have my own struggles. It's not easy dealing with mental health, but I'm not going to give myself any breaks and just be like, well, I guess I'm just going to be depressed the rest of my life, and I'm going to deal with anxiety, and nothing's good is going to happen. No, it was like, okay, I took the reins. And when I was going to school for NDSU, and I was actually going to be a phy ed teacher there, I had a really good professor, Judith Airy, who said, what's your philosophy? What is your philosophy in life? And simply, it's to be an advocate of joy, right? And that comes through with the entertaining aspect of wrestling. But what really gets me going, what really gets my juices pumping, is helping others who are struggling. I've been there. I've dealt with it. I'm going to give you those tools. I'm not going to build the house for you. I'm not going to build that foundation. I'm going to give you the tools to do it yourself. Mm-hmm. And when you're able to see that, when you're able to see that connection, that aha moment, that is, it's a feeling that I can't really explain. It's a very jubilant, I guess, and euphoric when you see someone connecting with what you're teaching. And, like I said, like, I want to pass that joy on. I want learning about mental health and dealing with it. It can be kind of boring. It can be real suck ass. But I said, nah, I'm going to be an entertaining educator about that. And I believe that satire, sometimes it's the best way to get your point across. And that with humor and levity, you're able to deal and you're able to connect with it a lot more. When you're just being solemn and just stone-faced, you're not really connecting with the children.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's really good. I like that. I tend to use humor and sarcasm and stuff like that to deal with a lot of things. It's always been one of my go-tos. I love laughter.
Me too.
I can't get enough of laughter. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's good. And I have some pretty sick and twisted humor. I'm not a sick and twisted person, but I find that kind of shit funny. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be able to laugh.
Yeah, I love laughing too, man.
I mean, life's one cosmic joke. The fact that we exist is a miracle.
Yeah, right.
And like the first tenet of Buddhism is that life is pain, life is suffering.
Yeah.
And if you can laugh at the pain, shit, man, you got it made. Yeah. Life's not gonna be sunshine and roses and donuts and whatever, tits and gravy. Yeah. It's gonna come hard and fast. And sometimes you're gonna go, what the fuck just happened to me? But if you're able to have a low sense of humor, and I'm a spiritual man, and sometimes I think God is either testing me or he's laughing at me. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good one. That's too ironic to not have some kind of creator. Right. And I'm like, okay, that's well done.
That's good.
It's a good way to look at it.
Because I'm a big advocate of you can either be humbled or get humbled. And with my arrogant ass, I get humbled. You know, and you know, it's just like as much as I would love to be humbled, that's not who I am. Yeah, and be against my nature.
Getting humbled is where it's at for sure. Oh, yeah. I agree with that 100%.
And it's just like, you know, recently I've had my my kicks in the ass, but it's not gonna deter me from who I am.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep punching, as Sylvester would say. You just gotta keep punching, man. It's not how hard you can get hit. It's not how hard you can hit. It's about how many hits you could take.
This is gonna be fun to watch back in the day. We've never had anybody break into character and chug
or freestyle.
That was good. That was a thing.
Never happened.
No, that's what we tell people to see if anyone's actually watched our show before they came on.
Oh well, that's like.
No one's done that before.
That was what we would call a litmus test.
Yeah, the litmus
Much like I said, like, can you refill the toilet paper once it's gone, even though there's a rack that has toilet paper? Are you smart enough once you use the last
we're back on gym etiquette.
Well, you know what? Yeah. It comes and it goes. And that's another thing. It's just like, dude, like, don't let someone. Would you want to be the person who took a shit?
Yeah,
and then you gotta waddle. You gotta waddle your ass to get the paper towels, or could you just be like, okay, I got that last roll. You know what?
Don't shit in public bathrooms. And if you do, look for toilet paper before you sit down.
Oh, no. You're taking pre-workout. You're taking a lot of protein. You're going to want to shit. Like, that's
do it at home.
No, that's the nature of the game. That's the nature of the game.
When you work in a gym, your whole opinion changes on that shit.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to make my heaven into a hell by making it a career.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not holding my poo in I'm going to go if I got to go. You know?
But you just do it. You do your thing before the gym.
Probably not.
Yeah. Probably you just smash them. You don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Anytime I gotta go.
Yeah,
I'm not that dude. I can't do that. I can't use a public restroom.
I eat too much to not
You
go.
You seen that Rick and Morty episode?
No, I don't watch Rick and Morty.
Oh, there's a shy pooper episode.
Is it?
Where it's like
I don't think it's a shy pooper thing. I think it's just more like it's fucking gross to me. I think it's gross.
I know the person who cleans the bathrooms, and I mean, she does a good job, so I'm good.
No, I know, but here's the. That's what I mean.
Probably cleaner than my bathroom. So I'm like,
well, I believe that story on a lot of people. There's some people though. I just wonder, man, the way they leave that public gym sometimes. Yeah. And this is why I take issue with it. Is like I've been the person that has to clean that shit, and some motherfuckers are just so disrespectful, and so nasty, and really just don't even give. Like we've seen dudes throw their fucking shit stained underwear on the top of the garbage, bro. They didn't bury that shit under paper towels or nothing. They I just dropped the bitch right on
that. You know, sometimes you're doing deep squats and going ass to grass, and sometimes you cut a turd and it happens. Like, where else are you gonna put the undies?
Yeah, but you would bury them at least.
You would.
Now this person was like, somebody needs to figure out who did this. So I'm going to put them on top and walk out and leave the light on so the next person who comes in will see and identify.
That's savage.
Because we know exactly who the motherfucker was. And he's a sick fuck.
Wow. Yeah. Does he have a limp?
No, he's not a member anymore.
Okay, well.
But
you want to know
what's his name?
So
I think people are guessing right now.
There's a Fergus gym, and I'm not making this up, where a member would shave his genitalia in the sink bathroom of the gym.
That's awful.
And it took him 3 warnings until they kicked him out. And I was like,
how did they know who was doing it?
Because he would do it in front of people. He would just be in the bathroom, the men's bathroom.
Like, what was this, every couple of months, or how fast did
he was doing bi-weekly, and like,
how did he grow back so fast?
I think he just wanted.
Or did he just do patches at a time?
I think he just wanted to keep them smooth as marbles, but like. Like, they had to tell him 3 times, and I was just like, I told the manager, I was like, one time is
too many.
He's lucky that he got that warning. That's courtesy. After that, you out the door, son.
Yeah, there's some weird shit that goes on. I can admit that. We've seen a lot of crazy things over the years in the gym.
So, but we're getting on etiquette and we're getting on policy. So, why do we have to wear clothes in the sauna? It's a sauna.
It's a heat sauna. It's not a steam sauna, right? So here's just like, so we just replaced it. It cost us a few grand to replace the sauna. Yeah. Granted, after 7 years,
why not
which
make
is cool.
it bigger though?
We will when we have more space, for sure. Like, our intentions are to make it much bigger because I can't stand being in there with 3 dudes.
Oh, yeah. It's just like, I just don't do it. I just don't do it.
When you're at Metroflex Sauna, you have family.
Yeah, I guess so. It's true. It's true.
It's close
but
quarters.
so, like, here's the difference, though. Is like, people will dump water on these things to make them steam.
Yeah.
But it's not a steam room. It's not a steam sauna. It's a heat sauna. You go in there for the heat.
Yeah.
You don't strip down in that environment. That's for the tiled steam rooms where you go in wrapped in a towel and all that shit.
So you're saying when we get a larger space, we get a steam room?
Nah, I don't think we need a steam room.
How about a private steam room? Like for VIP members? I'm just saying.
No, I don't know. I'd rather put an ice bath in first.
Well, okay, but what about hot tub?
Probably not.
Not a hot tub.
I'm just saying, like,
it may be
if
in my
you
office.
can have a co-ed sauna, I just don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Well, see, when
to have a co-ed hot tub.
Yeah, until you have to pay the bill for that.
And it's just dirty. Yeah. It's so dirty.
I mean, you get a high filtration device.
Okay, think about all the things.
I'm talking a customized one, like where there's a nice like round center where you can put your gym beverages, and then it's a circle around. It's like a nice donut.
Think about all the things you said about attachments, and then think about us having a hot tub right now. How would that go, do you think?
Well, first of all, I don't think it would get used that much. We're not the kind of facility where people are there hanging or come to use the pool, or you know what I mean? So it's like, if you just have a sauna there and you don't actually have a pool and all that other stuff, you're not attracting the people that use them. So like, most people that are in the gym, they're in there for a couple hours banging iron.
Yeah.
Those people typically won't be like, well, now I'm going to go put on my swimming trunks and go lay in the sauna for another hour or something. You know what I mean? Typically they dip. After that, they go eat, they do their shit. So like, I think it's our environment that keeps us from doing certain things, which I'm actually proud of.
We make a protein shake spot, right?
Yeah.
So it's because you're going to get hungry if you're over 2 hours, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you get that protein shake, and then you just take a nice bath in the hot tub
with 6 other people.
That
just worked out.
And you're just, but you shower ahead of time because you got to water yourself.
But nobody's going to do
who's
that.
going to do that?
Oh, well, you know what? You hire Rock Solid as the bouncer, and you make
in
sure.
Rock Solid won't even tell people to put their plates back a second time. Come on, let's be realistic here.
He'll say, "Did you rinse off?" And then they'll just keep walking.
They're like, "No." He's like, "Okay."
I think you're looking at this the wrong way. I think that Ross is like, "No, we're at the capacity for you."
There you go.
Maybe hit the treadmill a couple more times.
So see, here's the sauna thing again too. Like, I think another thing, and what people don't know is sometimes girls will come to us and complain at the front desk that there's a dude sitting in the sauna in his boxers.
Yeah.
And it makes them uncomfortable. I think that's a fair argument.
That's totally fair.
Because it's co-ed. So that's my biggest reason why people don't need to be naked in the fucking sauna, first of all. It's co-ed. You shouldn't. You could take your shirt off, that's fine, but you don't need to strip down to your fucking boxers.
It doesn't benefit you for being in your underwear. Bring a change of clothes.
Yeah,
really,
it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
The other thing is the steaming thing. Like, people dumping water on it to make it steam. It's not a steam room. It's not supposed to steam. You're not supposed to drown.
Messing up the heater.
Yeah, the heat element gets destroyed because you're drowning.
It wrecks the heater core.
Yeah,
for sure.
So that's just. Like, I don't think I have a pet peeve with people.
I was joking just for everybody about the whole sauna bit. No, I think that you should be in shorts and shirt. I think cutoff is okay.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
But I don't want to step on your balls.
Most people use that to deplete water.
You know what I mean? I don't want to sit in your stank. But then again, that's the reason why I don't use the sauna. And then it's like, well, if it's 95 degrees out, why am I going to a 110 degree sauna?
Because it's only 95 outside.
Well, I could also
You should have said if it were 100 degrees, why do I want to go in?
All right, well, you know what? I'm not. This is my first. This is my first podcast,
but
guys.
This is the kind of sauna though where people use it to deplete water. Essentially, that's what you're doing. It's good for the skin. It's a good antioxidant. All these different things. It's not a steam room. It's not designed for the kind of stuff other people are trying to do with it. Yeah. It's literally like most people will wear more clothes in that sauna to sweat harder. You know what I mean? It's where wrestlers and athletes go to cut
Except
weight and drop water.
As a wrestler, I'm under the realm of don't cheat with a sauna. Work your ass off. Do a couple more miles on the elliptical.
Sure.
And heavy sweats versus trying to cheat your body by draining it in a sauna.
What?
But yeah.
Don't you think then you exhaust all your energy?
Yeah.
No, I think that you get what you put out.
Sure.
I think that with a sauna, it just drains you and strips you. And whereas if you actually earn the water weight off, then you're more likely. But if you're to the point where you're saunaing and to cut weight, then you're probably cutting too much weight.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're cutting too much, or you didn't do enough in your prep time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's just like I get the whole water weight and trying to shed the last amount of water weight. I've been there. I've done that. But I also believe that if you're 10 over the day before, well, then that's on you, dude.
Yeah.
Because
I see that.
You weren't dedicated enough to put down the extra helping of mashed potatoes or whatnot, and to decrease your water input throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah.
The fact that you're trying to cut.
That's a good argument. I like that for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
it reminds me of Tim Grover and how he talked about with like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and their training so consistently, and how they would train on game days and right after games and all that stuff. And people would say, well, isn't that going to tire them out, make them not ready? He's just like, not if you do it all the time. Now you're trained to do it. You're just trained to get the job done. There's no getting tired. Now you're just the person that could play multiple games a day.
Yeah.
As opposed to the guy who takes a break before so he can rest. And it's like, now you're coming in cold. You're unprepared. Your mentality's not there. So when you're just constantly doing it, you're always ready. It's the same concept. Like you said, instead of using the sauna to get to weight, do the fucking work to get to weight.
Do the work, put in the work. And
I get it.
Like there's a certain level of dedication that comes with cutting.
Sure.
And like if you want to cut like shit,
there's a lot of variables to that. I will admit.
There's a variety of variables.
Because there's reasons why sometimes even with bodybuilding, some dudes just can't fucking cut the weight no matter how hard they try, and it comes down to a last minute peak week decision that they have to make to really go drastic. I've seen it happen with bikini girl competitors. I've seen it with bodybuilders. Everybody, there's just something, and it could be stress. It could be, gut health. It could be a bunch of things that are inhibiting them from cutting the weight, hitting the mark, even though they put in extra work. They're doing 2 hours of fucking cardio a day. They're eating 1,600 fucking calories and nothing's happening. Situations like that where you're just not able to make the cut no matter what you do, you need to resort to something like going in the sauna. That makes sense. So there's always going to be variables that you can take into consideration when you're looking at that situation. But for the most part, I agree with you. Do the fucking work. Show up ready.
But also a part of the consideration is that we come from a highly European society. A lot of us Norwegian and Swedish and Finland, where they're co-ed, nude in the saunas. And I think that's something that we might have to consider. Just kidding.
Well, it's like I always tell people, our policy at the gym allows guys to train with their shirt off. And most people will say, well, what about girls? And I say, well, I've never said they can't. I just don't think they do.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a policy against it necessarily. But it's up to you guys.
I think
me and my wife hate that idea.
I think that in life, it's all about, it's not censorship, right? I hate censorship from the government or companies or whatever. But I do feel that you should have self-censorship. Right? When I'm sub 25% body fat, I ain't going shirtless. No, I'm going to show off my arms and I'm going to hide my gut. But
you do go shirtless all the time regardless.
I don't go shirtless all the time.
He hardly ever goes shirtless.
I don't go shirtless. Nah, I'm not one of those.
He wears like a tank that shows like to his nipples though. So
maybe that's
I don't show nips. And that's another etiquette point.
That's something Cody needs to work on for sure.
That's an etiquette point. If you are showing nips,
but you're wearing
a
shirt,
don't wear the shirt.
Yeah,
because the whole point of a shirt is to hide the nipple.
Exactly.
It's a simple thing.
I thought it was to hide the belly button.
That too, but like if you're wearing,
he's like, nah, I wear crop tops, bro.
Well, you know what though? Me and Nate did that specifically to lose our gut. And it worked.
Yeah.
We body shamed ourselves. We didn't want to see. We didn't want to see that spare tire anymore, that donut, if you will. And you know what? Through hard work and seeing ourselves in crop tops, we squeeze the jelly out of that.
Yeah, you guys had like 8 other people doing that too.
Yeah,
It's stuck now though. Everyone's doing it now.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It's
There's
stuck
still
right
crop
now.
top Wednesday.
People are doing it like crazy. It's weird.
Yeah, I quit in the fall, but
I can't wait till John starts doing that.
That's
It's
never
be
gonna
good.
happen in your whole
He's gonna be
life.
wearing a crop top.
I've never seen John without a sweatshirt on. Like, I don't think he knows how layering
Few
works.
and far between.
Yeah.
Yeah, he only
It's just in the gym. It's just not. It's just my style, bro.
he
Yeah.
opens up his closet. He's got 18 different sweatshirts only. It's just
I
sweatshirt.
do.
He's like,
I dead ass
which one
do.
do I want to wear today?
I wear like the same 5 in cycle, but I got like 30 of them. Yeah, that's how it works, bro. I swear to God.
The other ones are in plastic. Just wrapped.
I really like. I have this real big thing about sweating in the gym.
Yeah.
And during the training session, I need to be as hot as possible to really sweat it off. And anyone that sees me in the gym, you've never seen me leave the gym dry. I sweat. I wear hoodies in the gym in the summertime, bro.
No, I know. I've seen it. I'm generally curious to know what your biceps look like because no one's ever seen them. And I'm like, I think it's kind of like when Triple H was doing the authority figure and he was wearing a suit the whole time, and everyone thought that he got fat. And I was like, no, he's not fat. Like he's jacked underneath that, but no one will ever know.
I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe one day.
It's not my mystery or anything like that. It's just not my style, man. It's always been the way it is. I don't know.
All right, as is tradition, when Ross is drinking, it's every 30 minutes that he needs to take a piss. So you're saying, hey, Drew, didn't you already take a pee? I did. But I will give these guys another icebreaker because I'm so generous.
Do we still need icebreakers?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah, we don't really. But I think it's fun.
All right, let's go.
I
What do
think
you
it's
got?
fun for our listeners.
We've only known each other for 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But would you rather have lived 100 years ago or 100 years in the future?
In the future.
There you go.
100 years ago for sure for me.
100 years ago?
Yeah,
Well, what are we talking?
I would have been a warrior.
So, I don't know. I would go 100 years in the future.
Oh, I'm worried about what the future looks like.
Yeah,
in the
but-
future, you're gonna be a fucking Xbox,
In
bro.
the 100,
You ain't even gonna have a human brain in the future, bro.
what would I have been 100 years in the past, though?
I don't know. In some kind of war or something, you would have been a soldier fighting for the country. You would have been a dapper gentleman.
I would have been like a...
You probably would have been a slave.
I was going to say a
you're
slave.
Right, you're right.
I'm going 100 years in the future.
No way. See, we would have been the dudes that ran from the plantations, bro, that fought back and did all that shit.
I'd
We
have
would have
been-
still been fighters.
I'd have been in the house. I'd have been good, dude. Living lavish.
you would just folded and been like, "We're good in here. It's
Yeah.
warm."
Like, he's got light enough skin. It'll be good.
That's dirty.
So, I mean, maybe that's why like light skins and dark skins like don't get along so well
Yeah.
because it's like these people probably would have been in the house and maybe that's the case, you know. So I don't know. It would take
That's
a lot
a
of
good-
courage for me to leave, you know, and I'd rather just go 100 years in the future.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too hard without knowing what the future looks like, but basing it off where we're headed.
Yeah.
I would not want anything to do with 100 years from now.
Absolutely. I'm going past.
Yeah.
Where traditional values reign supreme and just working hard and having sweat equity.
You wouldn't have been a slave though.
Yeah. I really would have been putting in sweat equity.
All right. Well, if it's 100, I would have just gotten out of World War One. Really? If it's 100 years ago.
You're right.
If in 1920, 1921. I think
There was still some slavery.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
yeah.
it was extreme racism still and segregation like crazy back
Yeah,
then.
but that wouldn't have bothered me.
We probably cut that up.
No, we're leaving it in.
Oh, absolutely leave it in.
Now you got to walk through the gym on your own.
Oh, now I gotta walk through the gym. I didn't say that I supported it. I just said it wouldn't affect me.
Yeah.
That's great. We know what you mean. Rob. We
Yeah,
just
for
fuck
real.
with you. No, that's good shit, man. That was a good one to think about because I definitely would want to go 100 years
See,
in the past.
but the
for
thing
sure.
is like I would be on the front line then, and they would use me as bait, and it just wouldn't be ideal. I still don't think I could go 100 years in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it's to each their own.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll push past this woke culture
Yeah.
Which I mean by woke, I'm saying that
I
sarcastically.
don't know, man. They're putting them into government and everything as fast as they possibly can.
What the hell happened
bro.
to the Liberal Party? It used to be the party of open-mindedness and for the
well, this is a whole nother podcast, bro.
I know,
but this is complete infiltration and purpose-driven agenda.
Yeah.
By weakening, they're using the liberal agenda to cater and get everyone on their side, going, oh yeah, look, just the same way they did with the whole black race thing stuff. Like this, that stuff only happens and only matters every election year or some shit. You know what I mean? Which is bullshit because there is real issues at hand that need to be addressed, but none of these fucking people are here to address them. None of these people give a fuck about addressing them. They only want them to exist so they can sway the vote in their favor by acting as if though they give a fuck and they're going to do something about it. That's what we're seeing now with the liberal side or whatever you want to call it. Is they're playing up to these people because they're making it the future, right? They're weakening the man. They're making the man. They're what do you call it? Emasculating the man. Right now, they're making it normal to be a super feminine man, and that toxic masculinity is a thing now.
Forget
and machoism,
about toxic femininity.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on that. That's a whole nother. But it's just like
toxic
this is
sensitivity.
they're giving them their voice, bro. They're saying, "Be heard. You're right." They're playing it up. They don't really care. They don't really give a fuck, and they're not actually going to solve anything or make anything better. They're gaslighting the shit out of these issues because they can get a vote off of people, and then they guilt you for not siding with it. It's just a big game. Yeah, it's just a big game, man.
Game.
I don't want nothing to do with that future, bro. I'm telling you right now. I don't want nothing to do. I'd rather go back in the past where I could still be a man and I could still stand for something and I could still defend the honor of people that I care and love about without being chastised, ridiculed, or canceled by a bunch of weak-minded, lazy people who are going to be bossed around in the future. They're going to be told what they have to do as opposed to help come up with the way society evolves and is ran. We're just going to be a bunch of pushovers in the future, bro. That we're going to see true communism in America for sure.
What I would love to see through Congress is one.
All of them leaving.
Besides that,
they're all from 100 years ago. Keep in mind.
Yeah. I mean, those are some deep roots.
Very
but
close.
what I'm saying is, you don't get to play the stock market when you can control that.
Inside trading is the worst.
You. And if you're not going to do that, then on your suits, I want to see who you're sponsored by, like a goddamn NASCAR driver.
China.
That would be sick.
There'd be a lot of China and Russian fucking
you're seeing
sponsorships,
You're going
bro.
to see Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
I want to know everyone who contributed to you on this campaign trail because you're not for us, by us.
Right,
you ain't FUBU.
Right.
You are just... Yeah, that's the thing about the liberal. I used to be a liberal. I'm a libertarian independent now, and I was when I was 18. Somehow I got tricked by Obama, but
he tricked a lot of people.
He had good idealism, and I bought in. I dived in on that. But what am I getting at here? I'm saying just I don't know.
Yeah.
The future stuff.
The insider trading thing is an issue.
Insider trading.
So here's what I always say, man, and I don't have statistical facts, and we're nearing an end here, but what I always say is just pay attention to this. So like one thing that opened my eyes was when Trump was president, he talked openly about how he gave his paycheck essentially back. And so when they did that, they announced that, $400,000. He gets paid. I don't know what that is, yearly or quarterly or some shit like that.
I think it's $500,000 every year.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, they would talk about it, and they said it was like $400,000 and something thousand. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, the president of the United States makes almost fucking $500,000 a year. Mm-hmm. How much do all these senators and Congress people make? And how the fuck are they all 100 millionaires? And buying $25 million mansions to retire into and shit when they make less than the president who only makes $400,000 a year. Yeah. That right there, if that doesn't blow people's fucking minds and go, okay, wait, this is pure corruption. There's no other answer. It's pure corruption. They make rules and write bills and basically govern our country based on whatever best suits their pocket. 100% of the way. They're making policies like, bro, if voting fucking worked, they wouldn't let us do it. if you don't know that about this country by now, you're fucking blindfolded.
Absolutely. No. It's. I like to think of it as not an oligarchy, kinda, where it's ran by a few powerful people. I recently found out that Bill Gates, his foundation gave half the donation. No, it was the equivalent what the U.S. donated to the World Health Organization. And so the whole vaccine mask mandate was perpetrated by the Gates Foundation. And I'm sorry, we're getting a little too political right now. And you want to see Rock Solid Ross live in action. So we're going to move past this. You know what? Like, yeah, the world's fucked, but it's up to you to solve it. It's up to you to give a shit. It's up to you to stand up for corruption. It's up to you to dig down deep and speak your own truth and call out the hypocrisy and the bullshit shenanigans that exist in our own reality. Ultimately, it's up to you to have that accountability, that ability to look inside yourself and say, hey, that's jacked up. That's not how it's supposed to be. And the only way to solve it is it's not going to be your mom. It's not going to be your dad. It's not going to be your grandparents. It's not going to be your sister or your brother. It's not going to be your bestie that you call on the weekends. It's up to you to solve your own problems. And I think that's what we got going on with this podcast. I think that's a good way to close.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I was actually going to just segue right into the closing because as much as people know you for being in character and that personality, that was 100% dead on. I know you're dead serious about that. I support that notion all the way across the board. I agree with you 100%. I'm very much at that point in my life where I'm like, I say it all the time. It's time to fucking stand up. People are saying, I got to get vaccinated for this or they're going to kick me out. I'm like, get kicked out. I'm that serious about it now.
Fucking rock the boat.
Yeah, get fucking kicked out. That's just where we're at. That's where society is, and the only way we're going to get it back is if we start standing the fuck up and doing something about it. Because if you're not paying attention, they're pulling the rug right out from under you.
You know, most people don't realize they're in the revolution until afterwards.
Straight up.
We're seeing the authoritarian government take place. The revolution's taking place. And whether or not you want to go with the way the revolution's going or you want to stand up and be your own person. Yeah. I was going to say be your own man, but you know what? It's 2022 and women can do it too.
Absolutely. I highly encourage them.
Well, no, that sounded borderline sexist.
I got you.
But that's not what I
always say when women, mostly radical feminists and stuff, I'm not against feminism, but radical feminism, that's bad. And I always say, when women are fighting or arguing that they want equal rights, why do they want to give up all that power? That blows my mind because women can have their fucking way if they learn how to use the power that they have as women. Well, they don't need equal rights as men.
That goes into French feminism where it's using your feminine mystique to get what you want in life. And that's where a lot of feminists don't like that because they're...
But feminists, I'm not gonna get. We won't. We're
cutting
this is a whole nother podcast. No. This is good topic, and
we're gonna go from where I just gave that nice delivery. Yeah. We're gonna cut from there.
No. Let's do this, man. Because I'll make a point in closing here for you, Ross, because of what you said. This is just here to sign off with the best ability that you can have, especially right now in today's society, is accountability and availability. Without those two things, we can't save this country, we can't take back what's rightfully ours, and we can't protect what we're losing on a day-to-day basis. So you have to be accountable for your position in this society today and what it means and the way that you think and the way that you view things and what you're told to believe. And then you've got to be fucking available to stand up, fight for it, believe in it, and help other people and encourage other people and have a voice about what's really happening, because it's not even about a belief system anymore. There's facts on the table. There's data. There's research for all the things that we're seeing happening that we're trying to fight against. So If you take nothing else away from this episode, that last 5-minute segment was about as dead serious as I could ever want to be about these topics. And I think Ross laid it down pretty fucking solid. And that's why he's rock solid Ross.
Like I said it before, I'll say it again, is satire is sometimes the best way to get your point across. And if I'm being entertaining while doing it, well, there's a lot of truth to what I'm saying. And if you don't believe that, you can... What does it say? Get ripped or get rocked.
Yeah. Ross, thanks for coming here, man. We really appreciate you. You could just throw your headphones off. You don't have to finish out with us. If you want to check out Ross, where can they, Ross, but just real quick into the mic, man, where can they see you on social media, follow you, see your journey?
I thought I was done, but you keep bringing me back in. You can see Rock Solid Ross on Instagram at Rock Solid Ross. You can find me on the Facebook as Drew Daniel Ross.
Weird.
And you won't get into my snaps unless you know me intimately. And that's the way it is because I'm Drew in the AM or Ross in the PM. And if you don't watch it, I'll slide into your DMs.
Oh, shit.
And then Rock Solid Ross will be competing on March 18th as well in Valley City. So if you want to check them out, definitely go check them out. Thank you guys for watching again. If you haven't watched any of our previous episodes, definitely go give them a watch. We'll put our stuff in the bio down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share to a friend. If you hate everything we're saying and you want to talk crap about us, do that. We appreciate it. Anything, John?
That's it. We are out. Appreciate you guys' time.